Hey there viewers, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is going to be beginner based in that we are going to tackle the 3 basic techniques to adopt whenever you are doing cornrows on dreadlocks. If you find this tutorial helpful, consider sharing to your friends, like, comment and stay locked to the end. Now let's start with our technique number 1, which is the Overhand Center Cornrow technique. This technique is all about crossing log strands from each side over to the center, creating a tight polished look that lies close to the scalp. Let's begin by setting up our bands. I start at the front of the section with 2 strands. Here I twist these 2 strands together. This twisting motion is key as it enhances texture right at the start and helps to close in any gaps between strands. Now that we have established some texture, I am ready to pick up a 3rd strand. I reach for a log strand from the outer hinge on the left side, gently pulling them towards the center. Here I flip this left section to the center. This 3rd strand becomes a part of our braid, making it 3-sectioned. With 3 sections, I am ready to begin the overhand crossing pattern that will create the cornrow. Next, I turn my attention to the right side, selecting another strand from the outer hinge. As I incorporate this strand into the right section, I am mindful of keeping the logs smooth and controlled. I then flip both the right section and the new log over to the center, bringing each side together. From here, the rhythm of the braid begins to take shape. I alternate picking up clusters of logs from each outer hinge and crossing them over to the center. Each time I focus on keeping my grip secure to ensure that the braid stays tight and neat. Moving backward along the section, I continue to gather logs from either side and cross them over into the center, building a structured, compact braid that follows the scalp naturally. Once the log strands are all gathered and braided tightly, I transition to a traditional 3-strand braid. Here is how it's done. I take each of the 3 sections, crossing the right section over the center, then the left section over the center, and repeat this pattern. With each crossover, I pull the strands tightly, creating a slightly wider, fuller braid at the end of the cornrow. This not only enhances volume, but also ensures that the braid remains secure and doesn't unravel over time. Finally, I secure the end with a rubber band, anchoring the braid so it holds its shape well. This overhand center cornrow technique creates a neat, compact braid that lies flat against the scalp, giving a sleek, uniform look, making it ideal for those who want a secure, low-profile style that's built to last. Now let's go over the Underhand Center Cornrow technique, which has a bit more texture and dimension. This style involves crossing log strands from each side underneath to the center, giving the braid a slightly raised and more voluminous look. To begin, I start with 2 strands from the front, twisting them to hand texture and to close in any gaps. This twist helps the braid to create fuller and ensures a solid starting point for the style. Next, I pick a 3rd strand from the right outer hinge, bringing it under into the center. Then I flip it over to the left side, letting the left section to become the center section. Now we have 3 sections forming the base of our braid. To ensure continuity of the braid, I will incorporate a log strand from the left side to the center section, then flip it over to the right side, making the right section to become the center section. To continue, I pick a log strand from the right outer hinge and merge it with the new center section. Then cross this combined section over to the left. This flip allows the left section to take its place in the center. Now I flip the center section to the right, letting the right section to become our center section. Switching back to the left side, I pick a new strand from the outer left hinge, handing it into the center. Then I flip the center section to the right, keeping the braid secure and balanced. The previous right section now moves to the center. Following this rhythm, I alternate picking up log strands from the outer hinges, crossing them under to the center as I work my way backward. This consistent pattern helps keep each crossover tight and controlled. Now, as we work backwards, one thing you'll notice that the underhand center technique gives that appealing look due to its flowery nature. Once I have gathered all locks from this section, I transition to a classic 3-strand braid, which widens the style slightly and adds extra fullness. For more stylish tutorials as pertains to cornrows, I just want to advise you to visit my channel and have a look on the tutorials that we have done before. Today's tutorial, it's more beginner friendly and it's focused on the basic techniques that enable or else easen the formation of cornrows on dreadlocks. Support by liking my work, comment and share to your friends. Just to give a summary of the second method, this Underhand Center Cornrow technique creates a raised textured braid that has volume and dimension, making it ideal for stretch and yet visually rich style that stands out on the scalp. Now let's walk through the Underhand Cross Outer Cornrow technique, which creates a lifted textured braid that has a unique pointed start and a compact finish. To begin, I take 2 log strands from the front and twist them together. This twist not only adds volume but also helps close any initial gaps, setting up a solid foundation with a bit of texture. Next, I pick a strand from the right outer hinge, crossing it underneath the 2 sections and bringing it over to the left. This becomes our third section, which I then flip over to the center. Moving to the left, I take a log strand from the outer hinge, crossing it under to the right and incorporating it into the right section. Now I flip this combined section over to the center, keeping the braid compact and secure. From here, I keep alternating sides in a rhythm. I take the next small strand from the right, crossing it under to the left and merging it with the left section, then flipping this over to the center. The process repeats as I work my way backward, consistently adding small clusters from each outer hinge and moving them across, creating a tight and interwoven braid pattern. Now, one thing you'll notice that the Underhand Cross Outer Cornrow technique begins with a pointed loop at the start, then widens as it moves backward, creating a super lifted, compacted braid with plenty of dimension. This style is ideal for bold statement looks and works perfectly for special occasions or when you want a style that stands out. As I get to the end of the section, I transition into a classic 3-strand braid, which widens out slightly while keeping the style looking full and balanced. Finally, I secure the end with an elastic band, locking the braid in place. The result of this technique is a pointed, elevated braid with a compact, textured finish. The Underhand Cross Outer Cornrow technique gives a bold, dimensional look that stands out from the scalp and brings a unique flair compared to the other braiding techniques. In summary, each of these cornrow techniques offers a unique texture and style. Now, notably, the Overhand Center Cornrow lies flat against the scalp, creating a sleek, uniform look that's both secure and polished. On the other hand, the Underhand Center Cornrow has a slightly raised structure, producing a flowery, voluminous braid that stands out with a soft textured feel. Finally, the Underhand Cross Outer Cornrow gives the braid a pointed start and a lifted dimensional look, adding visual depth with a compact interwoven pattern. Each technique brings its own character and flair, whether you are looking for a low profile style or a more textured, high-catching braid. you can choose one of these techniques. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to see you in class to perfect your braiding skills. I trust the tutorials informative. Thank you for watching to the end. Stay locked for more tutorials to come.